buggy, half-finished games, huge file sizes, and consoles that appreciate in value more than a house. These are the hallmarks of modern gaming. To many, it looks like gaming as we once knew it is on the way out. Or is it? These old consoles still exist, and while modern AAA gaming is becoming more unappealing, retro gaming seems to be more accessible than ever. To check out the possibility of somebody getting into gaming affordably today, I bought a Sega Saturn, a console I've never played before, along with this Saroo cartridge that came with a lot of games on it. Could getting this console that is new to me be the solution to modern gaming fatigue? Let's find out. I didn't want to break the bank buying this, so I ended up getting a Japanese console along with one of these Saroo cartridges. Unfortunately, that brought along certain challenges. However, they led me to an interesting revelation. The Saroo wouldn't come in until a few days after my Saturn would. This meant that I would only be able to play Japanese games even if I went out and bought an American disc. Luckily, even though I don't remember it being advertised, it came with a game called Desire. So I booted it up, and it was a visual novel which I can't read. The bright side is that I ended up finding some Japanese discs at a local game store. I bought Virtua Fighter and this horse racing game, and I actually ended up beating Virtua Fighter's arcade mode on easy though. What I found interesting about this experience is that because I was somewhat limited on what I could play, I played two games that I may not have played otherwise. However, playing Japanese games was only a temporary fix. To really figure out if this could solve modern gaming fatigue, I needed to be able to try out more games. That's when the Saroo finally came in. What surprised me about the Saroo cartridge is that it just works. Mine came with a bunch of games already on it, and I was able to just select one and it started playing with seemingly no problems. I now get to experience games like Panzer Dragoon Saga, which is a totally inaccessible game that I would never be able to play if it wasn't on this cartridge. I've also just been trying out some random games that are available, even trying some genres I typically never play like shoot 'em ups. While not every game lands, I'm glad I have the ability to just try out some games without spending a whole $70. This experience really brought me back to the good old days of gaming. This was when the developers knew that once they published a game, that was it. If the developers wanted the game to be a good experience, the game had to be completed at release. There was no day one patches, and especially no drip feeding of content. The only way to update a game was to do a new print of a disc or cartridge with the new version on it. Another great thing about this era was that the whole game was on the disc. There was none of this only having part of the game on there and then downloading the rest. This means that any game you pick up for a retro console will have the completed version of the game on it. Overall, getting this new to me console was really a great experience that re-emphasize why I love gaming so much. With that said though, is this the solution to your modern gaming fatigue? It very well could be, but it's not your only solution. For those who already have a few retro consoles, getting a new-to-you console with a way to inexpensively play games on it might just reinvigorate your love for gaming as a recreational activity. However, if you're just getting back into gaming, you might consider getting a childhood favorite console, like maybe an N64 with an EverDrive. Another great low-cost solution could be one of these retro handheld devices. I actually have a coworker with a couple of kids who told me that he recently bought one of these with a bunch of games on it, and he said he's been loving it. This perfectly suits someone just getting back into gaming and is only able to play in short bursts most of the time. Another great solution to modern gaming fatigue is actually playing indie games. A lot of indie games today invoke the things that we love about retro gaming. Indie games are generally more affordable than games from large publishers. I've been slowly but surely making my way through Clear Obscure Expedition 33, and it reminds me so much of classic RPGs like Chrono Trigger. With all this said, though, I think there is one other solution to modern gaming fatigue that often gets overlooked, and that's contentment. Contentment with what you already have. This has actually been a huge struggle for me, and buying the Sega Saturn actually made me realize how much I actually struggle with this. I have access to all of the solutions that I just mentioned, and yet I still bought the Sega Saturn. Buying a new to me console wasn't a solution for me. After getting the Sega Saturn, I played it for a couple of weeks and then went back to playing what I already had. Now, I'm still glad I bought it, as I've wanted one for a very long time, and it's certainly going to get some good use over the next few years. However, I shouldn't fool myself into thinking that it's my solution for modern gaming. I already had my solution, I just needed to be content with what I already had. So if you're fed up with the issues that modern gaming presents, before you buy something new to you, consider what you can do with what you already have. Whether it's buying more affordable indie games on your PS5 or Switch, or if it's even playing retro games on Nintendo Switch Online or the PlayStation Store. I want to encourage you to look at what you already have before you go out and buy something as a quick fix. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Bye for now.